Hello, this is going to be a video to go over your study guide, and I'm actually going to do the first 2 pages on one video, so it looks like 1 through 11, and then I'll do 12 through 28 on the second video. Sorry, I'm not trying to make you sick. I'm just going to go through these one at a time, and then of course the hard copy is posted on Classroom as well. Okay, so going through this first one, what's the independent variable? Remember, independent variables on the x-axis. So for this, it would have to be the time. You could put hours too, it doesn't matter. That's just the specific on that. And then the dependent variable would be your number of lawns, mode. And the next couple questions are asking you kind of reading the chart. So it's saying how many lawns are mowed in 4 hours. So if you go to 4 hours and you go up to where it intersects, just by reading the chart, that means it was 8. And the next one is saying how long does it take to mow 6 lawns? So that's 6 lawns is right there, and you can kind of read your chart. It's going to be 3 hours. Okay. All right, so 3 of the following represent the same function. So that's important information. You want to make sure it's the same. Which representation doesn't match? So I'm going to start with the graph, and we're going to see if we can get it to match. We're just going to check off. I'm going to check off the table with the graph. So 1, -1 would be here, so that works. 0, 1, that doesn't work. So these two are definitely not a match. I'm going to put that there. They're not a match. Okay, so now we'll check C. We'll see if C is the same. Alright, so reading the table is pretty easy, right? Those two kind of go together. And then 0, 1, that has that too. 1, 3 is on there. And then 2, 5. So these two definitely match, which is making me think that A is not the answer choice. And then the last one, we read it, -1, -1, that's good. 0, 1, that's on here too. And then 1, 3, and 2, 5. So it looks like this one's the one that doesn't go with it. Okay, complete the input-output table below and graph the function. So all we're doing is plugging these numbers into x and then graphing it. So I'm going to take this 2 here, yellow. I'm going to plug it in for x. So I'm essentially doing 3 times -2 plus 2, which is -6 plus 2, which is -4. And then 3 times -1 plus 2, which is -3 plus 2, which is -1. And then 3 times 0. And then it would be 3 times 3. So it's 9 plus 2, which is 11. Which isn't going to be able to map on here, I don't think. No. Okay, so -2, -4 be like down here. -1, -1, 0, 2, and then 3, 11, which would be like up here. And you don't have this fancy tool that like snaps it, but you can definitely tell that it'll make a line. So you can just kind of put some arrows on the end. Alright, number 4, which one of these equations is best shown in the pattern on the table? So we're going to take our values, sub them in, and then see if we get the same answer. You just want to make sure you check them all. So -2 will just be 2, plus 8, that works for the first one. -1 would be 1, plus 8 would be 9. So this one's out. Alright, so we're going to try the next one. 4 times -2 is -8, minus 2 is -10, so that one's out. -4 times -2, which would be 8, plus 2 is 10. Okay, that one works. -4 times -1, which is 4, plus 2 is 6, that works. -4 times 0, 0, plus 2, Okay, that one works. I'm thinking it's this one for sure, but we'll just check the last one just to be sure. Negative 3 times, or 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Plus 2 is negative 3. Okay, so that one would be it. And this one wouldn't make sense because it works for the first one, but it doesn't work for the second one. Okay. So for number 5, Michael got a loan to buy his first car for $3,000 and agreed to make payments on each month of $135. Write an equation that shows the relationship between the number of months and the amount of money remaining to be paid. So currently he owes this much money, and then each month he pays $135, and we're looking at those two variables, the months, which is going to be connected to that 135, and then the total amount of remaining money, or the L. So since it's starting, I know that the month's going to be with 135 because it's 135 per month. So using that logic, I can eliminate A and C. They're out. I'm starting with the amount of money, $3,000. So since they're saying how much money is remaining to be paid on the loan, it's just going to be a regular $3,000 because currently there's $3,000 left on the loan, and then each month it's decreasing by 135. So it's going to be 3,000 minus 135, which is that one. Okay, and like I said, we're going to do the first 2 pages. So the next part is all about functions. It's a function or not. Remember, functions, the x's don't repeat. Each input has its own unique output. Therefore, your x's don't repeat. So we're always looking at these. Any of our x's. And this one, remember, is the vertical line test on those continuous graphs. So for A, it's a yes. I guess I probably should write function. Is it a yes or no? Yeah. Okay. So it says function. So we're going to write function for this one. The mapping is also a function. We would know it. Whoops, that's like function. There we go. Function. And you'll know it's not a function if like there's 2 arrows flying out of it. This one is also a function. Because your x's don't repeat. And this one is not. And you can check any point really. They all are hitting kind of those 2 points on the graph at one time. So using your vertical line test, hold your pencil up and down. It's not a function. Okay. Alrighty. So a point is missing from the graph, or the relation to the right. The relation is not a function, so what point is missing? Currently, nothing overlaps. So what I'm looking for is when I add a point that I'm going to get that overlapping on the vertical line test. So let's check them out. 1, 4, that's not going to do it. That's going to overlap with a y, which we don't care. 2, negative 3 would be down here. Again, that one doesn't work either because it doesn't overlap. 3, negative 3 would be down here. That one looks like the answer. I'm going to circle it for now. We'll check the last one. And then 5, 3, which would be right here. So, which doesn't matter. In this case, these 2 points here, circle them in green, those 2 are overlapping. So that would make it not a function. So that same kind of question is in number 8. Fill in the blank so that it's not a function. If it's not a function, this value could be anything that's going to repeat the x, either negative 3, negative 1, or 2. Any of those would work. I'll make this note for when I post the key. Any number here works. Okay. You just want to make sure you repeat. All right, function notation. Remember, inside the parentheses is x, and this is the output. So when they say input for this, our input's going to be the number that goes in of the machine, and the output's going to come out on the other side. Oops. So on this number 10, it's saying to find f of negative 1. You're looking for when x is equal to negative 1. So if I go here to -1, kind of on the x-axis, if I go up, there's nothing up there. But if I go down, I hit this point right here, and your y value for that is -1. It's right here. So that's kind of, when we did a couple of those the other day too with that sorting activity, so hopefully that'll help with you as well. A puppy's weight is modeled by the function P of m is equal to 2 plus 3m, where m is the age of the puppy in months, and P of m is the weight of the puppy in pounds. Find P of 5. So again, you're plugging this in for your x, or in this case it's m. And so you're going to say, kind of the way it's written is P of 5 is equal to 2 plus 3 times 5. Or P of 5 is equal to 15 plus 2, which is 17. So it looks like the puppy's going to be 17 pounds. A couple more of these. That's a lot. Okay. You're going to plug in 4 for g. I'm sorry, in for x in the function g of x. So it's g of 4 is equal to 2 times, remember it's not g times 4. It's saying take the 4 and plug it into the equation. So 2 times 4, minus 3. I just realized I've gone on to the last page. I'm going to finish this problem up, and then I'm going to go on to the next page. So g of 4, so that would be g of 4 is equal to 8 minus 3, which is 5. Alright, cool. Okay, so this is going to conclude the first video, and I'm sorry I went over. I wasn't paying attention to that massive increase, massive crease over the center of the page. Alright, thanks for watching.